right, here we are rocking it on the Automotive ADHD show. And those car sounds, by the way, were sent in by Steve. Those were, and I've talked about these before, those were wedding burnouts. I think we might be starting a trend here. Previously, I had listener Aaron sent in car sounds of him doing donuts right after his wedding. Well, Steve here also got married and took a video of him and his wonderful bride getting into his car and doing burnouts. Oh my gosh, I love that. I think I maintain my position that wedding burnouts are donuts, burnouts, or both. Either is acceptable, both is preferable, is key to any wedding ceremony and is indicative of a successful marriage for a lifetime to come. So I think this is really important. We need to spread the word that this is how weddings should be conducted. And Steve was very much living up to that. And great burnout, by the way. Also, Steve, congratulations on getting married as well. And thank you for sending those car sounds into the show. Now, if you yourself would like to send car sounds into the show, you can do that. I like playing them here. And you can send them at facebook.com/automotive ADHD. Also, for this month, and I think I'm going to extend it into next month as well, you can get a sticker. When you send your car sounds in, you can post them on the pinned comment on the Facebook page. You post them underneath that, and then you direct message me your address, and I will send a sticker out to that address. And so I'm going to be doing that for this month. The sticker, by the way, for my viewers on YouTube and Rumble, looks like this on the back of my laptop. I'm pointing to it here. It is the As Heard on the Automotive ADHD radio show and podcast sticker. Very, very cool. Looks great on your car, and or you could put it on things other than your car too, but you know, the car's one idea at least. So yeah, do that. And so for this month, next month, I'm going to be shipping those stickers out. Now, that does mean you are still entered for a chance to win. The drawing here at the end of the month is going to be for the Automotive ADHD keychain, which I've got one here. And it's also going to be for a $25 auto parts store gift certificate. So a little drop in the bucket. Every little bit helps. And but yeah, send those car sounds in. I want to hear them. Tell your friends, hey, my car was on this radio show, car show, talk show thing, and they'll nod at you blankly and just no. You've got better friends than that. So now I got to talk about before we talk about Dodge and their new Dodge Demon, the fastest one they've ever built. The next one is always the fastest one they've ever built. But that being said, I got to talk about this first. Speaking of muscle cars, there is a guy with a very, very underrated YouTube channel where he does some really cool stuff. He's a gentleman by the name of Tim Roman, and he likes to convert things to be all-wheel drive. Things that didn't start out life as being all-wheel drive. Yeah, so his current project, his YouTube channel, by the way, has 2,500 subscribers, and I mean, he's got a subscription from me on this, absolutely, because what he's doing is absolutely insane. It is called No Production Value Garage, and he is currently converting a 2017 Ford Mustang GT, that is the S550 generation of Mustang, to be all-wheel drive. Like, is it even possible? Well, it is, because he's done it. And what he's done is he's got a custom transmission setup going to a different transfer case, or not even a different one. The car didn't have a transfer case to begin with, so he has also included a transfer case that then goes up and goes to a custom suspension setup in the front, because the front wheels of a Mustang are not designed to handle power. They're not designed to have power going through them. All the suspension up front is not designed for that. So he's got custom spindles that he's made, custom control arms, all this different stuff to actually handle the torque and power going now to the front wheels. And he's using the front diff, out of a late 80s Toyota pickup or 4Runner. They switched to independent front suspension in the late 80s on those. And apparently it just holds up to the power, which is interesting. And he says there's a variety of gear ratios available for it too. So it's the front diff from a late 80s Toyota pickup, he said, is the ideal candidate for this Mustang all-wheel drive project. and he's looking at doing some crazy stuff with it. Now, bear in mind, this Mustang has a V8. It's a 5-liter V8, which he says is probably going to get twin turbos down the road. So what he is building here, okay, like you're like, okay, yeah, cool, it's an all-wheel drive Mustang. What he's building here is really the American GTR. He is building the American Nissan GTR. The Nissan GTR is a powerful, fast, all-wheel drive sports coupe. And he is truly building the American version of that. And I think it's fantastic. And I think it's going to be insane, especially if he plans to drag race it, all-wheel drive. Those all-wheel drive launches, oh my gosh, that's going to be nuts. Just saying. I mean, he's going to hook up right away. It's going to be really cool. Also, this thing might do all-wheel drive burnouts. You chain it down and you do all-wheel drive Now, come on. All-wheel drive burnouts, that's cool. No one can tell me otherwise that is cool. I mean, just saying. So, yeah, I would suggest, and not that I've talked to him or anything, but I'm just giving him the endorsement here. I would suggest you very much check out his YouTube channel. He details a lot of the build process, a lot of the nitty-gritty technical stuff. I mean, he's not even necessarily using off-the-shelf parts in many of these cases. He's having to do things like machine his own custom splined input shafts and stuff. Like, he's doing some really cool technical stuff. So if that's something that interests you, or if you just are interested in an all-wheel drive Mustang, which is absolutely nuts, you need to check it out. Again, that is No Production Value Garage on YouTube, and very cool there. I'll reach out to him. We'll see if we can invite him on the show, get him on the show to talk about some of his projects. I don't make any guarantees, but I'll at least reach out to him. So that'll be cool. Now, I want to move from one cool V8 car to another cool V8 car. Arguably, the all-wheel drive Mustang is cooler than even the Dodge Demon, but I digress. The fact is, Dodge has now just announced a new Dodge Demon called the Dodge Challenger Demon 170. And the 170 is now the fastest Dodge Demon that they make from the factory with a warranty, which this also must be rubbing current Dodge Demon owners a little bit the wrong way, because they spent a lot of money to get their, one of 3,000 Dodge Demon, which, by the way, the Dodge Demon came out last in 2018. Can you believe it's already been 5 years since the Dodge Demon came out? Time flies by, I'm just saying. But that being said, the Demon 170 now, it does. Okay, bear in mind, this is a street car in air quotes. And it runs on the factory on E85. It does 0 to 60 in 1.66 seconds. It does an 8-second quarter mile. It is the first 8-second production car in history, and it makes 1,025 horsepower. And somewhere between all of that, they managed to fit a warranty in it. I don't know how they did that, but alas, Dodge has. And quarter mile time, 8.91 seconds at 151 miles per hour. It has skinny tires up front from the factory. Now, they're not quite skinnies in the front as you would think of on an actual drag car. They are skinnier than the tires you would have on the regular V8 Challengers, but they apparently are about the same width as the tires you would have on the front of a V6 Challenger. So they're not actually that skinny, probably because Dodge can't sell you true skinnies up front for safety reasons and regulation reasons. They probably can't do that. But this car has a trans brake still, like the regular Dodge Demon. It has a 3-liter supercharger, which is the largest ever put onto a production car. That is like having an entire, I'm looking across the garage here at a crusty, broken Toyota 2J. That's like having an entire 2JZ for a supercharger, displacement-wise at least. 2J is 3 liters. This is 3 liters. It's it's like having that bolted to the top of your engine, which is nuts. Now, you're probably wondering, where does this come in price-wise? It's not cheap, but Dodge has this listed at an MSRP of $96,666. They had to get the 666 in there because it's a Dodge Demon. Yeah, this is Dodge's marketing at its finest for you. And now, will any of these actually sell at MSRP? No, of course not. No one's going to get one at MSRP. But the MSRP price is, it says 666 in it. Okay, yeah, that's cool. At least Dodge is doing more of this stuff than the than the stupid EV Dodge Challenger thing that growls at you and sort of revs at you. It's an EV that revs. Yeah, I don't get it. See my podcast a couple weeks ago about the how Dodge has the EV Ram that they're calling the Ram Rev, despite the fact that it cannot rev. There is no engine for it to spin. There's no revolutions, but whatever. You know what? The fact is that Dodge is still making, despite all this weird EV stuff, they are still making insane muscle cars. This is going to be, they say this is going to be the final Challenger after 15 years on the market. I don't really believe that. I think their Challenger brand, especially with V8s, will continue. I think, and I've talked about this before, this is very characteristically Dodge, where they create some false demand by saying, this is going to be the last Challenger ever made, or the last of this Challenger. And then everyone says, oh my God, this is the last one before they go to EVs. And then what do? Here's another one. They've already said they were going to make the last Challenger. And now this is the last Challenger. I mean, think of it like rock stars, right? Think of it like Aerosmith, for instance. How many times have they done a finale tour? I mean, come on. They always come back and do another one. A couple years ago, I was working at a rock radio station, and we were doing an event, and a listener came up, and we were giving away tickets to the, what was it? It was the last Aerosmith, finale concert, and we were giving away those tickets, and this guy came up, and he won them, and I was like, oh, cool, are you excited to see, Aerosmith, their last, tour? And he's like, oh, dude, I've seen like the past 3 tours. I've done all their finale tours. And it goes to show that, like, they're going to keep doing them. They're literally going to keep doing them. And I think it's the same thing with Dodge here and the Challenger. And they're doing this. I mean, they're literally doing this to drum up demand. There's already fantastic demand for their vehicles, but they're doing this to just drum up hype and marketing. This is all part of that. Now, the fact is, they are making a production car that has 1,025 horsepower, does an 8-second quarter mile, which, much like the original Dodge Demon, you can't actually drag race it anywhere because it doesn't come from the factory with a roll cage or a parachute, items that they can't actually sell you on a road car. And according to the NHRA, you can't run a car that does less than a 9-second quarter mile without a roll cage. So you can't. So you're going to buy this Dodge Demon and then you can't actually use it anywhere. Isn't that amazing? That being said, Dodge will sell you a roll cage through their direct connection performance parts catalog, but they can't actually sell the car with the roll cage in it. I'm sure the lawyers got their hands all over that. And I think a lot of people, and probably for a good reason, I think a lot of people don't understand that roll cages can actually be really dangerous. And normally think, oh, a roll cage is going to save me in a crash. It's fine. It's a safety. It's a piece of safety equipment. And yes, it is. But if you are driving a car with a roll cage without a helmet on, that's very risky, because if you shift or anything in your seatbelt, your harnesses, whatever, and you hit your head on that roll cage, you can get a very, very bad, sometimes lethal head injury from bonking into your roll cage that otherwise wouldn't be there, because your head would hit nothing without the roll cage. It would clear the roof of the car. It wouldn't be hitting a roll cage. So with that, roll cages can be, I do see the liability in selling a roll cage for a street car. That said, yes, you can do padded roll cages, or just wear a helmet and a Hans device, which that's another thing, by the way. Having harnesses in street cars. Now, some harnesses, multi-point racing harnesses, are designed for street use. They're designed to have a certain amount of give to them so that you don't break your neck in a crash. But typically speaking, harnesses in street cars are also a bad idea, because if they cinch you down to that chair, there's no give in them. There's no designed give in many of these harness designs, meaning that when you get into a crash, your head continues going forward and you can break your neck. So that's why racing drivers have the harnesses, the helmet, and then a Hans device, which is a device that goes from the helmet, connects down to essentially a neck brace that goes underneath the harnesses. So the harnesses are holding the neck brace down, and the neck brace is tied to the helmet. That's essentially the best description I can at least give of a Hans device verbally. And so I'm getting off topic here, but yeah, a car with a cage and harnesses from the factory, I can understand why they can't sell that as a street car. That being said, you want to put a cage in it? Go put a cage in it. They have a bolt-up cage. It'll just go into it. So that I think is that is good. That is good. And I think it is amazing that Dodge is still selling cars like this. I mean, where's Chevy? Chevy, where are you? Where's Ford? Yeah, Ford's got the GT500, but it's not 1,025 horsepower. It isn't. So I'm just saying, Chevy, Ford, you got to step the game up. We need to start the muscle wars again. That is what is going to save automotive enthusiasts for decades to come. A revival of the muscle wars. Currently, Dodge is fighting in the muscle wars right now, but with themselves. They're just having to top their own cars. No one else is doing it. So I think that this is, I think this is something that needs to happen. We need more of this. Chevy needs to do something. Ford needs to do something. Are they going to do anything with their corporate and their marketing departments telling them, no, EV, EV, EV? Well, I don't know if they're going to do anything, but clearly Dodge is doing something because Dodge is a little crazy sometimes, and I like that about Dodge. So anyway, this, by the way, the Dodge Demon 170, does that mean they're only going to make 170 of them? I don't know. I actually don't know. Dodge has been known to do these Demons in a pretty low production run, and I wouldn't be surprised if this production run is actually lower than the original Demon. But that has yet to be seen. I am very happy, at least, that this car exists. Will I own one at any point? Probably not. But the mere existence of it makes me happy, and hopefully it brings you some sort of satisfaction that the muscle car is alive and well. Now, don't go anywhere. We are going to talk about some surprising car theft statistics, how one of my own cars was stolen, and in the last half of the show, Jimmy Ford is going to join me right here. It's Automotive ADHD.